Coming to you live from Studio B at KOPN. It is the Sticky's Cabana Podcast.
How we doing, folks? It's Sticky here with Sticky's Cabana Podcast, Season 3, Episode 10. And off to my left here.
Hi, everybody. It is I, your furry pal Topher.
Thank you, Topher.
You are very welcome.
Yes. And across the table from us today, we've got Back Road Odyssey. Gentlemen, please introduce yourselves and let us know what y'all do for the band.
Yeah, we're Back Road Odyssey. My name's Matt White. I play bass for the band.
My name's Daniel Williams. I play guitar and backup vocals.
Brad Allen, lead vocals and rhythm guitar.
All right. And then next to Brad there, we have Miss Kim. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
How you doing today?
Quite well. How about you, Sticky?
Well, you know, we're here. So, gentlemen, tell us about Back Road Odyssey.
It started almost 3 years ago in my garage. Our former drummer was like kind of the link between me and Matt, and we just met up and jammed for a minute, and it was really mostly just a rhythm section, and we've gone through some changes recently. The drummer left us as soon as things got heavy. You know, he realized it really wasn't something that was good for him, so you know hard feelings there. But right now we got a new singer as well, because the singer also left us at that time. So we're going through a new era of the band, but we're still moving on. You know, just you roll with the changes. You know, most of your favorite bands, they aren't the original members. So
That's true, isn't it?
Yeah, to interject, my band, The Bomb, actually did the same thing. We went on hiatus July of 22, lost the drummer, lost the bassist, I think in that order.
right.
And I stepped away, ran into a buddy of mine who has played out at the Cabana, Nick Boggs, who actually co-hosted our show a couple of weeks ago.
Wasn't he on here 3 times this year?
Yep.
I think so, yeah.
He plays guitar and bass, and I said, hey, you feel like joining The Bomb? Coming in, sitting in, playing around? He's like, yeah, and I've got a drummer. So we got that all back together again, and then another friend of ours, Logan Lashley from Lifeline, he's like, hey, I like covers, let's see how it fits. And now there's 5 of us, and we are back and out on the circuit.
So, you guys, what, Sedalia?
Yeah.
Ish area?
Based, yeah.
Yeah, based
I
down
live in
there.
Eldon, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do.
Me and Matt live like 2 miles from each other. So.
Oh, that's not bad. You guys can have sleepovers.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
the
called
garage
band
is big
practice.
enough. I've lived in
make
there.
stovetop stuffing.
Right.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
That sounds great. Hey, if that's the case, I'm coming to it. Y'all have, what's the music scene like down there in Sedalia?
It is not.
It's not.
There's not much of a scene really at all. You know, so most of the times we're always looking to branch out, and really I've wanted to try to put on some shows out there. There's just not a lot of like good stages that the city will rent you for a reasonable price. You know, they want you to put thousands of dollars down for an evening, and so the city's against you too. And
Yep.
and they're really big about the hours that you can have the shows, and without pulling tons of permits. And it's kind of hard because none of the bars are offering shows anymore. All the ones that did just aren't booking bands. If anything, it's just single acoustic shows.
Oh my God, when did this happen?
So it's dead unless you want to play at the state fair, which is one time out of the year.
Right.
So
Wow.
it just really sucks, you know.
So I lived there like 10 years ago, and Matt and I were in a band, we were in a metal band together like 10 years ago called Sons of the Fallen, and we had actually kind of built a music scene in Sedalia. I'm originally from Spokane, Washington, and we have a huge music scene there. Like I grew up with Miles Kennedy and like a bunch of like people you've probably never heard of, and some that you maybe have, but
Miles is pretty big.
Miles is pretty good.
Yeah.
He's, he's a smart ass, but that's beside the point. But Matt and I were in a band like 10 years ago. We built a scene, and we were like, I kind of taught these cats how to work together, and they were doing really good. And then I had to like move back to Washington because I had other things. I still have a band back there as of right now that I tour with every once in a while, and then I left, and now I'm kind of surprised to hear this about the Sedalia music scene. This makes me sad. Like we worked really hard on, on that. We brought a lot of people together that like didn't talk to each other, and found out that, hey, holy shit, we're all like-minded. Like let's go play music together, and like Did we remember that show we played? We had that Norwegian death metal band. They were from Sedalia, but they were a Norwegian death metal band. They were all painted up. They had the goats' heads and shit. It was great. It was fun.
Local goat's head.
It was fun. Like we need to bring that back.
Don't
to
see that
Sedalia.
kind of stuff anymore. I swear.
So, any of those bands, any people in the music scene back then have gone on, continued elsewhere?
I've seen a handful of bands that have made it.
Like, what about
and
Hofstadter?
they always end up in Kansas City.
They don't play
it
anymore.
seems
They
like
don't play
St.
anymore?
Louis.
I know that our old drummer from Sons of the Fallen became a singer. He plays for a band called Redeemer that's like pretty big in Kansas City. He actually, when I came
And
back
Columbia,
and rekindled with Matt, they were like, well, we lost our drummer. I was like, well, I'm gonna call Chris, and he's like, sure, I'll come do it. He showed up for a couple of practices and was like, well, dude, I haven't played drums since we quit the band 10 years ago. I was like, oh wow. He's like, yeah. And then I'm like, well, you've got your shit you're dedicated to there in Kansas City, so I don't really want to take you away from that and make you have to learn to play my songs and these guys' songs. And so he actually said he kind of bowed out, but he set us up with his old drummer, I think from Die Descent. Another this cat's a metal drummer too, and we're not necessarily in that genre. I figured out a long time ago that metal does not pay the bills.
Unless you're Metallica.
Yeah, unless you're Metallica or
That's
or Megadeth, but don't do what David did. Anyway, so I got to open for him when he was on his book tour. I was in a band called Children of the Sun. We got to open for him. I actually got to hang out with Dave Mustaine's kid. He's their tour manager. And so he was sitting in the back with all these strippers, and we're like, who's that kid that's got all these hot chicks? And he's like, that's our tour manager. And so I talked to him, found out it's Dave Mustaine's kid. Got to hang out with Dave Ellefson, and he was selling one of his Thunderbird basses at the show, and I got to get up and do peace sells with him, and I got to do what was it? Symphony of Destruction, and it was amazing.
That was a crazy experience.
Yes, it absolutely.
World.
But even then, the band that I had opening for him was more of a I kind of going for the grungy southern rock kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what we really identify as more of I guess a mix of grunge, but with some southern roots, if you will.
So I coined the term crunchy country.
It's
crunchy country because
it's still got the twang in the guitar, but it's got the heavy riffs, that you'll see in drop tunings and stuff.
It's country songs in drop C.
There you go.
But all of the passion and the feeling in the vocals, and the darkness and the stuff that really cuts in there, makes everyone feel the real music.
I like to tell stories too.
The real music.
Did y'all change up a little bit of your genre mashup?
Honestly,
here
not
recently?
too much,
No?
because when we go out to look, especially for singers, we try to find someone that has like-minded and similar interests, because we're trying not to turn too far into a different direction. We like the sound that we've come up with. Because actually in the beginning, the original members, Hayden, our drummer, we were all more into reggae ska music, punk stuff, and so we were trying to go that route, but we don't know any horn players or anything. So
And you gotta have horns
so
to
you
be
gotta have
ska.
horns, so we, but we all liked grunge too, so and I didn't really want to go all the way down the country route, because to me, I like country music, but I feel like most of the modern stuff isn't doing it justice, and that's really what people want to hear anyways.
Yeah.
I refuse to play it. So, so just put, but putting a little of that grassroots in there, though, mixing it in, I thought was really cool. And
Yeah,
I think no one else is doing it.
I mean,
so.
we're not writing songs about pickup trucks and good stuff and shorts and bodies of water. Well, I mean, okay, so I do have a song. It's called Muddy Banks.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I come crawling out of the muddy banks. Oh yeah, yeah.
So it is technically about a body of water, but it's not. That's actually the song. The entire song is a metaphor for how drugs and addiction will take you down. I was in a band for 12 years called So Far, and our guitar player got really lost in heroin, and he ended up being found in the Spokane River. And yeah, and it was the day they found him, we had been looking for him for 3 months, and he went missing right before Thanksgiving. We found him in January. And the day they found him, I got the phone call, and I just happened to be at practice, and like sat down, bawled my eyes out for about 10 minutes, picked up my guitar and started playing a song, and it became one of the songs that, like, this song's kind of followed me through a few groups, and it'll be with us in this group as well. This is, I call it my hit song that nobody's ever heard. But
yeah, it's those songs that have true meaning.
Yeah, it definitely, like, that one, it holds a special place.
The words wrote themselves because it was already there.
Absolutely,
you know?
Absolutely, like, that's, effortless.
One of those
And
that
so,
just comes out of the ether.
And so,
You
yeah,
feel
so
it
it was
so deep, it's just there.
It was
you know?
Joe. His name was Joe Seavey, and actually, so Joe was like the life of the party, right? Like when I first met him, he was a coke dealer, and he had just this wad of cash, man. And I was like, that's stupid to walk around with that, and you don't even have a gun on you, Joe. And then so I was like, come be my sound guy, and he, I was like, you have cocaine, come be my sound guy. So he came and he was our sound guy for a long time, followed the band forever, and we, like, you know, again, it's just kind of like these guys went through our lineup changes and went through our trials and tribulations of finding the right people, because I mean, it takes the right people. Like when you put a band together, like you're putting multiple personalities together, and like, you know, and I don't mean like Kim over here. I mean, you know, I like this.
Just met you, and he nailed you to a T.
Wow. Hey, listen, I'm married. We can't put that out there. I did not nail Kim in the studio. Okay, I did not nail Kim in the studio. But anyway,
okay.
You can have people cherry picking that.
You pegged her personality.
Who's talking about pegging? We're not talking about pegging here. Anyway, so you put a group of personalities together, and you have to work with them. And you know, like 9 times out of 10, especially like in the Spokane music scene, you're gonna find that like people's egos far outweigh their talent.
100%.
And
their ethics.
Yeah, and your true colors show after a while. You know, it's the person.
Unfortunately, in this business, you find a lot.
It's the person that takes the extra money from merch, or the one that gets money from the venue and doesn't pay everybody an equal share and pockets some. You know, and as far as I'm concerned, like when I was running my band, everybody in my group got an equal share, and if I did all the running around and printed the flyers and did the booking and did all that, I did get a little bit extra. But you know, you put in that extra work. Like all I'm asking my dudes to do is show up and play, and you get your cut for the night. And I kind of hope to get us to that point too, where we're out there, we're making that money, where it's like everybody gets their equal share. If you put together the show, you get paid more.
Absolutely.
You know, that's how it works.
Right.
I had a question for each of you guys.
Sure.
Speaking of ethics, you know, and
I
how truly, or are we speaking the difference between morals and ethics, or social mores?
Scruples is more.
Big for me, it's work ethics. I mean, like morals are important, but unfortunately, you will run into a lot of musicians that are just kind of out there. And as long as maybe like their morals don't harm you or anybody around them, you can put their eccentricities to the side, because some of the most famous people you'll meet are some really strange people that are into some things you don't really want to know.
Well, how are y'all's values kind of bonded y'all together as a band?
That's a good question. You know, I guess for me, you know, like
a tough question.
I learn values and ethics the hardest way possible, because I was raised in the streets, you know, and I learned right from wrong, just on the eye for an eye principle, you know, learned it the hardest way possible. I learned that, you know, you can be a bad person and have everything you want, but you always pay the price down the road, and you always have to live over your shoulder.
Always consequences.
Always live over your shoulder, and I don't ever want to have to live like that. So anybody that I have surrounded this close to me is someone that I feel is on the same principle.
Okay.
So I can trust.
I was raised a little differently. I was raised military. My dad was in the Navy. He was a career man, and so then I joined the military when I was 17. Dropped out of high school. I was like, fuck this, I don't want to go to school no more. My dad was like, well, you're either going to go to school or you're going to join the military. And I was like, all right, I guess I'm joining the military, because it beats looking for a job. And so I quit smoking pot.
Amen.
And I went to the Navy, and I ended up getting kicked out. And that was because I was not quite clean when I started my journey in the Navy, and I got popped for a piss test while I was on delayed entry. So my recruiter decided to leave the fact that I had been prescribed Ritalin out of my enlistment papers, and so I was halfway through my A school, I got sent home, and which is a bummer. I took the oath, and I still take it very seriously. I took an oath to defend my Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and I hold true to it today. As far as values, that's kind of a loaded question, and these these days, like, you know,
Sure.
I was a card-carrying Democrat for a long time, and I'm no longer that, and I'll just kind of leave it at that. Like, because more or less my values haven't really changed, but apparently whichever side of the aisle I sit on has. So that's kind of the
Flipped
way I
drastically
feel.
in the last 50
Yeah,
years.
absolutely. Like, nothing has
It's
changed
changed
about the way I
sides
feel about
completely.
things, but apparently
Yeah.
everything has changed about the way everyone else in society views the way I feel about things, and apparently because I feel that way, I
So
must support
I
one
think
side over the other. And
Obviously, everything in moderation, and the problem with nowadays is people are so extreme about
Polarized,
everything.
man.
This
So
way or that way.
polarized.
It's like everybody has good ideas, everybody has bad ideas too. Pick and choose from both.
And see,
You can learn from
right,
anybody.
dude, right there, ideas, right?
Jesus Christ.
The movie Dogma.
Sound familiar?
The movie Dogma.
Yeah.
I mean,
Love that movie.
absolutely love that movie.
Alanis
Chris Rock-
Morissette as God.
Well, I mean, I disagree. I disagree. Maynard is God, but that's beside. But
I can understand that.
Chris Rock had one of the best lines, and this actually changed my views on a lot of things. Chris
Okay.
Rock had one of the best lines in that movie, and he said, you know,
I just think it's better to have ideas. I mean, you can change an idea. Changing a belief is trickier.
anybody can take a second look at an idea and be like, you know what, that's a good idea. And my idea wasn't that great. That's a good idea. But if you put the word belief in front of that same structure, that person's gonna die on that hill.
Right.
Yep.
They're gonna die on that hill, and they don't care who they burn down to.
With them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's exactly
And
what this country
that's
is.
where we're at right now, and it's really sad. People can't just be like, you know, like him and I. We agree to disagree. We do not agree politically on a lot of things. We just don't.
Yeah.
This is one of my
Politics don't
best
belong
friends,
in
though.
music. I'm sorry.
This
No,
is
they
one of
really
my
don't.
best friends, though, and I'm not willing to lose that friendship
That's
over
how it
something
was
But they
as
shouldn't.
stupid as
They shouldn't be
political
that
beliefs.
involved in anybody's everyday life. though.
Exactly.
Because if anything, that's just a better way to separate us.
Mm-hmm.
Just give more reasons to put us into different sects, to hate the other sect, and.
Because I'll
and
tell you
just
what,
like-
you know what
just
the
like-
government
just
doesn't
like
want to see? They
religion.
don't want
I
to
mean,
see this right here.
You know.
They don't want to see a redneck hugging a black person.
Yeah.
And I hate to put it that way, but that's
No,
they don't-
that's their
They don't want to
worst
see
fear.
this. They don't want to see this. They don't want to see us together. They don't want to
This
see
is
us
their
holding
life.
hands and saying, you know what, we're no different.
Yep.
And that's where they want us, and that's where they've got us right now. And
100%.
social media, there's nothing
Expensi-
social. There's
ex-
nothing social about social
yeah.
media. It's divisive.
Oh gosh.
It's filled with bots, trolls, and parasites that are there to get us arguing
The filter
and fighting with
things
each
and
other.
make
Everyone
sure
in
you
their
see
echo
more of
chamber.
those things that you like and more what you hate, and to force you to be in those.
And I'm sure all you guys have seen it, right?
Echo
Like
chambers.
every other post is this celebrity said that this other celebrity that Beyonce's new album isn't country, or this country star said Dolly Parton's wrong for supporting. They didn't say that. None of them said that. This is nothing more than people that are seeking
Clickbait.
out to exploit your biases
It's
for
clickbait.
likes.
It's literally clickbait, and most of that's wrong. It's most.
I
clickbait
think this
wrong
is
information.
probably the deepest Cabana podcast we've ever had.
She asked the values question,
Hey,
bro. She
this-
opened the
Well,
door.
we got Kim.
No, I'm digging
that's
this.
the grunge for you, man. It's
Yeah.
deep. It's dark. It's not
And at
happy.
the
It's
same
real
time-
though. It ain't nothing about your common day person. Is that sunshine and roses? We're all struggling out here,
But it
and
go-
even
it
the
goes
middle
back
class
to
is
it.
barely even existing anymore. So, I mean, it's crazy, and we're all pretending like we're all happy and everything's okay, but it's fucking not.
Yeah.
It's not okay. Everything is fucked. Literally everything. Go to the fucking.
Well, yeah.
gas
So
station.
see, it turns out that Fred Durst actually could predict the future. Everything actually is fucked.
Everything
and
fucks.
everybody does. indeed
Everybody
actually
sucks.
suck.
Everybody sucks. Yeah.
So he's like, I'm gonna have to edit all this cool shit out because you guys keep
Don't go
swearing.
break shit.
Do we have
No.
Oh, okay, cool.
No, we're good. We're
Chainsaws. I mean, Molotov cocktails.
I mean-
My rifles are loaded. I'm waiting for somebody to come down.
I'm
with
more
them.
ready, but too many people are scared.
I do wanna say something. We're
Too many
kinda-
distractions, I guess. I don't know.
Changing the subject, I want to go back to what we were talking about with the music scene. And so I just turned 40.
That's what we're here for.
I know. I just turned 43 on Wednesday.
Youngster.
And these amazing cats came out, and I just set up my music gear, and we put on a show on my front porch.
Well,
And I mean, there was
happy
like, thank you.
birthday.
There was like 10 people there, but it was amazing.
It was real cool.
And I got to thinking, fellas, and I'm putting you on the spot on the air.
Those are always the best kind of
So,
shows, though.
all right, dude. So I'm thinking, what if we found sponsors, we did a thing, and I put together a sick ass music festival on my property once a year.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we'll start it out
With
playing
the
on-
right amount of
Dude,
promotions,
So that
you know, like it's
Summer
all
Bash,
takes,
Indiana,
really.
that thing that I was slated to play in July. That's how that started off. Brandon Perkins, the guy who started that, he started it in his front yard.
Nice.
And now, they rented the Water Bowl in Muncie, Indiana for years. Now they're doing it in Medina, Indiana this
We
year.
could make the new Ozark Festival.
Whatever we want to do.
Is
A
that
couple of porta
completely
potties
done?
I've got.
Do
What's
what?
that?
The Ozark Fest, is that
We
like...
we played it this last year. We're actually friends with Donnie Cunningham, and we just played a 420 show over last weekend with some sit-in musicians on the spot actually, because he wasn't available. He's just joined our band, so it was
And I work at a dispensary, so 420 is kind of like our busy day.
Yeah. We
just a little bit.
That one in 710, you know.
We had a videographer take videos, and we had a sit-in drummer and singer. The drummer we played with 3 hours beforehand, and the singer we met 20 minutes prior, and we played this show still.
Wow.
We made it happen.
Awesome.
But so as far as the Ozark Festival, if a lot of people don't know about it, but it was comparable to Woodstock, and it happened in Sedalia, Missouri. 400,000 people attended it. Likes Leonard Skinner, the Allman Brothers, like all of the bands you'd want to see, Bachman Turner Overdrive, they were all there. And it just never got continued because it was so crazy that Sedalia was just like never again. And so Donnie Cunningham tried to revive it, but the city wouldn't give him the licensing to be able to put it on the state fair, and it's so hard to get big names and big bands to come out if you're not going to play at the state fair.
Yeah.
So with the battle of the city not fighting the music scene again, I think he's kind of given up on it. So.
Well, he's had a few things I've seen up there. What he's got at that Glass Emporium.
Yeah, that's
stuff.
where he's playing at. Yeah, that's where he's having it at, but it's not like the state fairgrounds, so it's hard to get enough people to be coming out to something like that, especially because the scene already sucks. So, but everyone comes to the state fair, so
Go figure.
When it comes to getting names, you can get names as long as you have the money.
True.
Dude, like Metallica will play the smallest club you can find if there's $10,000 in it for them. You know what I mean? Like Snoop Dogg will do anything for $2 grand.
Yeah.
Like, that's anything, anytime, anyway.
We need to work on that.
Get him in the studio.
So have you ever heard that song, We Keep It Dirty in Texas? Whoa, we keep it dirty in Texas. It's from a band called Anchor. They had a few hits back in the day. They're a couple friends of mine, Brandon and Greg. What's up, guys? And so they did a music video with Snoop Dogg. And it was actually one of the funnest things that they've ever did, and they smoked hella weed through the whole thing.
I can only imagine.
And it was like $2 grand and a big fat sack of weed, and Snoop Dogg will pretty much do just about anything you want. Aaron
Let's get that organized.
And when I say that, I mean musically. I'm not pimping Snoop Dogg out. Please, Dogfather, don't come after me. I ain't trying to sell your ass. And then one of the ones that I guess Aaron Lewis is another one that if there's enough weed involved, he'll do it. And I'm still trying to figure that one out because he's one of my biggest idols, and I've always wanted to
don't
open
talk
for him.
through his set.
Yeah, well, obviously, dude, if you go to somebody's okay, just like John Mellencamp, nobody came to listen to John Mellencamp rant. They came to listen to him play music.
Yeah.
Nobody came to listen to you talking to you're not at a bar.
No.
Okay, you're at a show, watching somebody play.
I agree. It's not.
Shut up and watch the show.
But all these people are drunk. You can't have 10,000 people that are under the influence and guarantee that they're not going to talk to each other.
Well, yeah.
Who knows if they might be talking good about you.
There's
too.
always that
and you're
one.
mad now.
There's always that one, and that's one of the bigger problems in society today too. Is a lot of people's parents didn't go shut the fuck up.
No, that's yeah.
Spare the rod, spoil the child.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're country or southern, you got your ass beat.
Oh, Granny had you go pick your own switch out of the damn tree.
Better be this kind of switch, not this, or else.
Yeah, we're not talking Nintendo here. You go out to that willow tree, you get yourself a branch, and you bring it back to me.
I learned the trick with that, right? When you go pick your own switch, you grab the thickest, longest fucking branch you can find. You know why? Because they got to swing it all the way back, and they got to swing it all the way forward, and it's like...
So it's slow.
So it slows down. You get one of those skinny little bastards.
Hey, have you ever seen that angry Southern black woman?
I have.
Yes.
Yes.
You don't give her a bigger stick.
She's going to keep hitting you. He's going to keep beating the...
But still, see, them angry Southern black women will beat you with their shoe while they're on the phone and cooking dinner at the same time. Motherfucker, what'd you say?
Deadly accurate.
Eddie Murphy was right about that. I'm saying.
Flinging the slipper right around the
Molly,
right in the back of the
What was that, Mama?
Speaking of flinging, we're going to fling to our sponsor for just a second, so we will be back. And we're back with Back Road Odyssey.
It's been an interesting
Let me
break.
just say, I'm glad I didn't have my phone out and recording for that last segment. I don't need proof that I said any of that shit.
The downfall of today's civilization is the fact that everybody walks around with a movie studio in their pocket.
Pretty
No
much.
kidding.
Yeah, for sure.
No kidding.
Holy
There's so much
crap.
documented things that should have never been documented.
That's what I love about growing. You know, I was born in the 60s, grew up in the 70s and 80s,
Right.
and
That's such a change.
thank God
We didn't have
there
I
is
can't
no
imagine
documentation of the
also the
stuff that I
freedom.
did.
The freedom of being able to just be yourself and not knowing that there's not a dozen or
Right.
more Ring doorbells or street cameras that are all watching you
Some
from
random
different
person
angles.
on the
Oh, that's
street
yes.
deciding to film you.
I watch a lot
Put
of
you on TikTok or
I watch a lot of that
World Star or
first
something,
48 man,
whatever.
and almost every murder gets solved because of Ring doorbells anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, watch, he ran over here and
or
went in his
some
house.
random person happened to be FaceTiming somebody while trying to cross the street and
Yeah.
caught the killer.
Look, there's a belly dancer. Holy shit, he hit him in the head with an axe. How did we catch that on camera?
Right, because we were.
I mean, there's some
already
pretty
doing
epic things we get to view, though. I mean, it does make for good entertainment, I would say. So,
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking
Yeah.
of entertainment, I was actually thinking, with all the social media and things up there, such as music and music videos, you guys mentioned some other groups that you all might be in right now. Any solo projects or anything like that going on with you?
I mean, I do my own solo stuff. I'm still working, so I just moved down here less than 2 years ago, so I'm still kind of trying to build a name for myself. I live right around the lake, so I'm trying to build a name for myself in the Lake Ozarks, like Camdenton, Gravois, Versailles, like all around that area, like more of the Lake Ozarks area, you know, but trying to build myself a name around there, build the name back up in Sedalia. So I'm doing, you know, a lot of like solo stuff if I can, where I can find it. I do have my own branded band, Brett Allen and the Northern Rebels. That is my band from Washington State. You can find us on Spotify. We have music videos on YouTube. There's a music video for Muddy Banks. There's music video for Lay Me Down and Lockdown Blues and Bulldog Country and a few other songs that we like put lyric videos and stuff too. You can find all that stuff on YouTube and Spotify. Please follow us on Spotify, man. Like every time I look, I've got like 12 or 13 monthly listeners. Like we don't have a whole lot. Like I had a record label I'm not gonna name here because he has a tendency to listen to and watch everything, and dude doesn't like when I badmouth him. But I paid a decent amount of money and didn't get quite what I expected out of it, and so.
I wouldn't say there was not much promotion there.
There wasn't very much promotion within it. Like, I will say that, like, because of being hooked up with them, they got me hooked up with the guys from Summer Bash, Indiana to begin
Connections
with.
are
And
important.
yes, the connections I made from those guys were very fruitful. But I just, we had a Spotify up that had many more listeners, but things kind of, you know, took a break when I moved down here. And we weren't kind of sure where the direction of the band was going to go. And rather than kind of keep that shit to ourselves, I guess we let the cat out of the bag to the record label and they pulled everything down. So all my music videos that had over 100,000 views and everything else got yanked. So I'm kind of starting over. So if you guys could go back to my Spotify and listen to it, because you're going to hear quite a few of those, because those are my songs. I've got them copywritten and everything else. Like, and my guys in Spokane, and I'm gonna name them off real quick because they deserve it. I got Leo McLaughlin on drums. I've got Mercury Hendricks on bass. I've got Lau Olison on keyboards, and I've got Jeffrey Shell on lead guitar. I love those guys. I've been with them the past 7 years. Like I said, I go back to Washington and play shows with them quite regularly. Like I love those guys. They're my guys. But you know, I have my songs and I'm carrying them with me, and I'm trying to make a name for them all over the place. So I'm bringing some of those songs down here too, and anything that takes off, obviously, my guys that recorded them with me are gonna get those royalties and their contributing percentages. But we're gonna try to kind of continue to build the brand down here, and you know, we've got the Back Road Odyssey and Brett Allen, and we're gonna find out where we go.
Yeah,
with
as
that,
far
for
as
sure.
your musical careers, being in this band actually saved me from doing the one-man band thing. Because I have a garage, I have a drum set, I had all the musical stuff, and I'd almost given up on like playing in a band with anybody, especially because I'm like an old school like blues guitar player, and I'm like, what the hell did I spend all this time learning this shit if no one cares? because like lead guitar doesn't seem like to be a big thing anymore. You know, not as much as it used to. I think it's coming back, but for a while it just dropped the fuck off though, and I was really sad about it. So, but I was getting to the point where I was trying to record a video and a song where I was playing the drums, the bass, the guitar, the vocals, the backup vocals, and all that shit. And I'm so glad I didn't have to do that anymore, you know?
Yeah.
So it was a lot, but I was gonna do it. And then this band started 3 years ago, and that's just what it's been. And I've been the main music writer. I've had some of the lyric input, but I've spent most of the time writing all the music and stuff. So that's been like my biggest thing for me, is seeing these songs actually get recorded. And so some of the songs I brought with me from when I was 15 years old. I'm 28 now. I just turned in February, and some of these songs never got finished. I never thought I'd ever use, because I always got stuck in like these heavy metal bands, because that was a big thing for a while. And not all the songs that I write are a lot more groovy. You know, they got more feeling to them. They're not all like aggressive and stuff. So it's cool to see that. I guess if you could say that's my career as a songwriter, you know, it's finally seeing these songs to fruition and being heard, you know, and I got to play them live, and I'd like to see them. I'm not going to let a singer and a drummer stop that from happening, you know. We're going to move forward, and with someone a little more serious and experienced, and who's not scared to go on the road and take the time to make it happen. I just think a lot of people don't understand the work and how serious things get, and they get scared.
Is my home, dude. I miss it. I want to go back on the road.
Well, I haven't been out there yet. You know, this is 16 years I've been playing music. This last year was the first year I got to see money coming into it, and I don't care so much about the money, but it is nice to see the time, because a lot of people don't understand the stuff on behind the scenes. You know, you just see the show, but you don't see how much practice, rehearsal that it took.
Right.
The endless hours that it took to be that spot on those songs, to be that tight. Which
takes you to another place that, you know, a lot of promoters don't take that into consideration. People that book your bands, they're just like, oh, well, I'm just paying for 5 people to come out and play music for 30 minutes, or for 30 minutes, or for 3 hours, whether you're booked as a house band or you're booked just as an opening act. You know, that 30 minutes. And 30 minutes still was 6 months in the making, at least, for any band that gives a shit about their performance. And that night was 5 hours
with the drive, the setup, the tear down, the sound checking, and everything else. So.
The cocaine, the strippers. Oh, wait.
It's a lot of work.
Somebody's got to pay for that.
Did you ever listen to Tenacious D? Yeah. Jack Black was right. The road is fucking hard.
Yeah.
The road is fucking hard.
You know, and I'm not complaining. It's just, I think people think that musicians are out here just playing and having fun and stuff, and then you see the guys that have already made it, and they are sure they've earned it though.
Yeah.
You know, but to get there, it's not like that. You know, it's hard work, and I think a lot of the amateurs that are working their way there, they're never going to get there, because they don't understand that it takes that kind of work. They just see the end result, and they think that they can already be there. They let drugs already get in the way. They never practice enough on their own time, and so the band lacks. And
yeah, I make a lot of jokes, but it's not actually sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
It's
anymore.
not. It's
you
a
gotta
job.
Take care of yourself,
it's
man.
a job, dude. If music is the thing that you really care about, then why would you even put all your time and energy into a 9 to 5? If you really, you know, any one of us cannot go out there and tour if we're good enough. You don't have to be amazing. You know, I'm not saying you're gonna be a rock star, but you know, anybody can be sufficient. You just have to go out there and do it, not be scared to do it, and not do it as a part-time thing. You got to put all your time and energy into it. People are too scared to do that. They have one foot in or one toe in, and the rest into their regular life.
I mean, on that note, I will say, like, shit costs money, and I understand, like, where you're like I get it. I had that mindset for a long time too, and I did not put any of my time into a full-time job for a long time, and I had kids, and I didn't make, you know, like, it took me till I was like 39 to get my shit together and buy a house and everything, you know what I mean? Like, so I fully understand where you're coming from, but if you don't have the right people beside you and you don't make the right connections shortly within your start in this career, you better have that fucking 9 to 5 job, because you ain't gonna survive.
Of course, but you gotta go out and try it. You know?
I'm
talking about people who've never even put themselves out there on that tour, or even tried. Because if you go out there and you didn't make the money or whatever, and you didn't go anywhere, you didn't make the connections, and you didn't get another tour the next season that's bigger, at least you did it. And at that point, if you, like you said, and shortly after, and it didn't go anywhere, you probably should make some money elsewhere, because that's not the thing that's making you money, or find some passive income that you can go out on the road with.
No, and I get that too, because like, at least you know, did it, because like.
But at least you tried.
Musicians.
You never know. You could have made it big on that tour.
Yeah, musicians, man. Like, one thing about musicians, for one, we're therapists you can drink and do drugs with.
Yeah.
Secondly, like, it's who we are.
That's a good way to put it, though. We're traveling therapists. You know,
Well, yeah, we're
and the
kind of
connections that we
traveling
make
therapists.
with people, it's an interaction. It's, you know, they say like
Oh,
the
that's
people
what I
that
was gonna
fall
say.
into your life are either important because you're going to make an impact on them, or they're going to make an impact on you.
So my mind, my brain is filled with 10,000 memories and experiences.
Of course.
A million that somebody who's never chased it is never gonna get.
Never going to see. They're going to be stuck in that same town hating it.
One in particular, I'm gonna drop his name again. I was playing at a festival in Montana. It was called Rock in the Rivers. It's the biggest rock festival in Montana. They have it every year. It's 30 to 50,000 people.
Damn.
We're playing on the first stage. We're playing along, like Boba Flex and Saliva, Blue Cadillac. I'm trying to think of LA Guns.
Everyone's
like,
there. Everyone's
so a bunch of those
fine.
cats, right? On main stage, we had like Alien Ant Farm, and we had Blue Oyster Cult, and Alter
so
Bridge.
the energy's there too.
Yeah,
People
Non-Point,
are pumped up and
like
excited for that
and so we're playing. This is again with the band Children of the Sun that I played with, which is actually what Spokane means in Salish Indian. It means Children of the Sun. So that's
nice.
That's where we got our
That's
name.
cool.
We named ourselves after the city we were from.
Pretty
But anyway, we're on stage, and I look over, and I see just a throng of people around my merch booth. Right, and I can't understand why. Like we're,
Yeah, you're like, you don't
I've
know
never,
who I
I've never
am.
had
Why
a
are
rush
you
on my
here?
merch like that before. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, are we selling drugs at our table? Like, like
That's just
I
the sheer
want some.
volume. We got 30,000 people there. They're gonna check it out. Yeah.
And so like the crowd kind of parts, and who do I see standing by our merch table? But it's Mark Tremonti and Miles Kennedy.
Alter Bridge.
Because like I said again, one of my first shows ever, I was opening for a band called the Mayfield 4. And if you guys know anything about Miles Kennedy, Mayfield 4 was his first band
I didn't know that, actually.
in Spokane, Washington.
Yep.
Like I actually used to
So
I used to go play slots
his
in the Mars
roots-
Hotel.
So his roots are there. That's
Yeah,
cool.
if you know about Mayfield 4, then you know the
Yes.
song Mars Hotel was their biggest hit.
Right.
And I used to go play slots in that, and it burned down. And he wrote the song about the. But anyway, I look over, and he's there, and we get done with our set, and I go over, and Mark's sitting there signing autographs on my T-shirts and shit, which I thought was funny. He's signing
wild.
Children of the Sun shirts, and
That's
I was like,
wild.
fuck it. And we're selling them, go for it.
Yeah,
You
sure.
know, and I got to meet Mark Slaughter that weekend, too. That was awesome. But anyway,
nice.
yeah, him and Dana White, or not Dana White, but him and Dana are super cool. Dana White's UFC. Him and Dana, Mark and Dana are super cool. But anyway, so I'm over there, and like I go over, and I'm like, what are you doing over here? Like, you're hanging out by my merch booth. Like, you're super big. He's like, yeah, it doesn't mean I'm too big to, like, say hi to a friend. I told you I'd see you out here on the circuit, you know, because the very
There
first
you go.
show I ever got, I opened for Mayfield 4 in a band called 5 Foot Thick.
Yeah.
And they're, like, 5 Foot Thick was, like, new metal, and Mayfield 4 was Miles. Miles, Marty, and Zia, to be exact. And so when we got done, like, I was in a band called Whisper at the time. We got done, and I was, like, I think I was 18, 19 years old, and this was kind of the first time I met Miles. And we get done, and he walks up, and he's like, you're good. You're pretty good, man. And I was like, yeah, I know. You know, like, I was a fucking cocky kid and knew he could sing, and I was cute, you know, so I was like, whatever.
Like his character in Rockstar.
Yeah, kind of Thor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, I got another story about that. We used to call him Thor, and he hated it. Anyway, so he walks up, and he's like, you're pretty good, kid. And I was like, yeah, I know. And the promoter, his name was Big T, and I love Big T. I miss Big T. Big T comes up to me afterwards, and he's like, do you have any idea who the fuck that was? And I was like, no, I don't know. Some dude just told me I was great. And he's like, that's Miles Kennedy, dude. He's a local legend. You would do well to, like, find a way to pick his brain, because, like, you're on that wavelength as a vocalist. Because, like, in Spokane, it was just, you know, like, everybody was just trying
What we
do
call Cookie Monster vocals.
yeah, dude. I have a Cookie Monster song. It's called C is for Cookie. C is for Cookie. Yeah. Anyway. And anyway, so like by the end of the night, I you know, and I'm underage. I walk up to the bar. Pete knew I was underage, the owner, and he let me hang out anyway. And so I walk up to the bar and I order a beer for me and Miles, and I walk over. I sit down, and I was like, fuck you, man, you know, because they had just got done, And so I'm like, fuck you, man. And he was like, what? And I was like, well, you didn't have to patronize me. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, you told me I was good. Like, the music scene I come from is very toxic. So I immediately just thought he was being a dick.
He'd be a dick.
Yeah, I totally thought he was.
Yeah,
and he's like, no, I meant that shit. He's like, he's like, listen, okay, I went to school. I've got years of music theory behind me. Writing a song sometimes can be painful because I know too much.
Right.
He's like, I can tell by your style. Like, he's like, you're young, you're passionate, and you write by what you feel.
Overthinking
and that,
it.
and that's exactly. He's like, I overthink a lot of things, and so I actually kind of took that,
to
from him that night, and I rolled with
down
it,
to everything. I'm like, and then I ground back to just playing it and feeling it. I'm like, why did I even spend all that time? I drew it out on a whiteboard, the whole chord progression, harmonies.
It sounds like something I would do.
Things, and I'm like, and then none of it even helped me.
Right. But then is the rock star reference. We were working together at a place called Mark's Guitar Shop, and Mark is actually who he wrote Blackbird for, because he died of cancer. And so we were working together at Mark's Guitar Shop and Rock City between the two, and giving lessons, right? He was giving guitar lessons and I was doing vocal lessons, which seems really fucking backwards. Okay, because like he's a much better singer than I am, and also a much better guitar player than even Mark Tremonti, I believe. Like, you'd be surprised at how gifted this guy is. Anyway, so he had just done the movie, and he came back with like, you know, snippets of the screening that he could show us and stuff like that. And the one scene that he shows us, obviously, is when him getting pulled up on the stage. And he's like, what's your name? And he goes, you call me Thor. And so every time like someone would call for like his guitar lessons or anything like that, I'd be like, Thor, line 3, Thor. And so that's my Miles Kennedy stories. But they're fun. Yeah, no, he's a good guy. He really is a good guy. Like, and I just wish that I had the opportunities placed before me that he does. But I'm working for them, you know. Like I mean, the reason he is where he is because he took Mayfield 4 on the road. He you know, he had his job, but his job was always music. Everything in his life was music. Like, what he did. Like, he was giving lessons. He was giving singing lessons, giving guitar lessons. He was doing the wedding singer thing, giving fucking vocal lessons for Meatballs at one point in time. You know,
it's like manifesting things.
Yeah,
know?
like
if you spend all your energy and time into that, even if it's not one thing, but it all relates to music.
We have a 5-star hotel.
You'll end up, you know.
We have a 5-star hotel in Spokane called the Red Path, and Miles Kennedy is one of the only people who's allowed to sit out in front of it and busk. And he does when he comes back. Like,
oh, that would be cool to see.
Yeah, he actually comes out. He'll set up in front of the hotel, and he'll sit out on the street corner and he'll busk.
Yeah. Wild to see, but I bet most people just walk past because they don't think it's him. They're like, no.
Oh no, he always develops a crowd. Like he's.
Yeah, I mean, it's like he's like Ozzy. He has got that voice that you could hear it from a block away, and it's like.
Which I think I think it's really cool that so I'm a wrestling fan as well. And so, like, I've always been an Edge fan because of From This Day I See Clearly, right? Like, that song is awesome. And then, but he came back and he knew that he was going to leave and go to AEW, so he created this faction called the Judgment Day. And so they use Alter Bridge's song The Other Side. Won't you reach the other side, right? Like, and they use that song for their intro now, and so Miles is still part of the WWE. And I think that's also really cool. Like, you know, this dude I've always looked up to, and like and let me make it clear, like, I'm not gonna try to act like we're real good friends or anything like that. We're more acquaintances that I grew up following his career and opening for him when he was local, and then wishing I could talk to him after that.
Having a chance to open for any of you.
But the fact that he remembered me in Montana was really cool. You know what I mean? Like, we've only had a handful of interactions, and each one of them like have been memorable, and it's I don't know. It's great. Like,
at least your idols are living. Most of mine are dead or on their way.
No, most of mine are dead. Like Chris Cornell, Chester.
No, I'm talking about people that were born in like the 30s and 40s. So,
yeah.
You know, they're not.
I mean, Johnny Cash is dead, bro.
You know what I mean? Like, Eric Clapton's still alive, so I might get to see him before he dies. So I got to see Bob Seger.
I'd love to be the new Man in Black, because there ain't nobody in country music that's carrying that fucking torch. I'll tell you what.
No. So, Matt, would you at least like to say hi to the audience today?
Hi, audience.
You know?
Yeah.
We're getting to be almost an hour into this, and we have yet to hear a word from you.
Yeah, well, we're going to develop that persona for you. You just got to be the ones like...
He's got mystique.
Silent dude in the back.
Each word has more impact if he doesn't sound it, you know?
Yeah. So do y'all have any albums out?
So that was the dilemma. Actually, that's why we're kind of in this intermittent phase. We were working with a producer in Colombia, JPS Productions, and we were setting up studio time. We had a couple $1,000s in our band fund, from playing all the shows this last season. And we were going to set up a 15 to 20 hour session to try to get at least 1 or 2 songs recorded. And our plan was to drop a single every couple months following up to an EP, because we have up to 6 songs that we'd already got done. And then the singer and the drummer quit simultaneously. So it's kind of, it's hard to get people that tight with your songs that you're ready to record. Especially with nowadays everyone uses metronomes in the studio. Click tracks, so you gotta have a drummer that's spot on, can't be off by a beat, or else you're spending all your money on the drum track.
Yep.
So and I think that's part of the pressure too, is the drummer wasn't trained with a metronome, so he just wasn't. It was he was scared to waste our time and our money.
We have high hopes for this next drummer. Like I said, he was playing this is a blast beat drummer, so this kid obviously can play to a metronome. We were sent
he was practicing for years to be able to do a blast beat and not sound like shit.
Yeah, and
it's totally sound like shit.
The track we got set's not particularly my cup of tea, and I even listen to heavier music than I play. But
he's capable.
But yeah, he's very. I have high hopes for him, so I don't think we're gonna have too much to worry about as far as time.
Because
we get him locked in.
We're looking to. So for me, I've actually self-recorded. I've sat and done the whole process, and it's no joke. People don't understand how many hours it takes. Just initially recording takes a lot of time, but then doing all of the mix down and then
all the post work.
It's hours and hours of listening.
Dude, it's a day job. I spent 40 hours on a song, and it was good. But nowhere near as good as obviously the people who have degrees and have, and so, but I have respect for it. And so when we go to record these songs, I'm ready to spend the money. The studios that we're looking at are $50 to $100 an hour, and I want this to be professional, and I don't want to have to record it a second time.
So. Right.
So there's a million
Lucas
guys.
definitely feels your pain there. 2 days later.
There's a million guys I can go there record our songs for $20 an hour. I'm not interested in doing that.
Right.
I want it to be the one. So.
Right, because we've had plenty of people in here that are like, well, why does it take 3 weeks from the time we sit down with you for this thing to come out? And it's like, well, there's audio editing, there's video editing.
Or do you want it to sound like, hey, mister, I don't mean to tell tales out of school. There's a fella in there to pay $10 if you sing into his can.
It's like, you pay for what you get. You really pay for what you get.
I wanted to ask you, what are you looking forward to, with just the new members and getting things tight? And are you looking forward to recording, or what's your focus right now?
I love playing live, and I'm always just kind of go with the flow. So if guys are gung-ho ready to go record, and I'm like, all right, let's go do it. If, somebody's like, oh, I need to take a break, then
so
that's cool too.
Up for whatever.
So we I think we're
here
gonna,
for the music.
I think Matt's gonna get a new nickname. It's gonna be DFW. Down for whatever.
There you go.
That's a great nickname. That's your stage name, bro. It's DFW. Down for whatever.
Oh yeah.
See,
that sounds like a good band name, though.
Actually,
and the innocent things I say, still,
yeah.
That's rock and roll.
Are you an influencer? Did you go to Coachella this year? Because you're over here just influencing the shit out of our entire dynamic.
Do you all have
She just comes by that naturally.
So we do have.
Natural talent.
Yeah, we have a show at Sticky's Cabana in Higbee, Missouri.
Nice.
June 22nd.
That's the one we're prepping for hard right now with our new singer.
Oh shit, Sticky! I know him. Hey, Sid Roger.
The tape side's
Roger. I pointed the wrong way.
That's
Listen,
okay.
I've already. I smoked my breakfast this morning.
Tape side's also out of Sedalia too. We played with them last time at Sticky's, but
no, we play with them at the End Zone.
End Zone, that's right.
You guys have them with
But Alex is a cool dude, and he's in Sedalia. He works at one of the dispensaries. I see him all the time. I just saw him yesterday, actually, and I like their music a lot. It's like some psychedelic stuff, much like Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
Like straight out of the 60s. The dude must have been reincarnated, because What?
Yeah.
It's good. I
Yeah,
mean,
we
it's
had
great.
we had tape side out at the Cabana first year.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
cool. It's different. So I've been talking with him. I want to collaborate with him and see, you know, like what kind of musicians he's got too, because a lot of my greatest bands I draw influence from, they had a lot of artists sit in with them, you know.
Yeah.
Some of the biggest songs, like While My Guitar Gently Weeps, George Harrison didn't record the lead part. It was Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
On Layla, the slide guitar was Doyen Allman.
Yep.
So, you know, it's cool to collaborate. Some of the best songs were done like that. So,
Absolutely.
you know.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Speaking of dispensaries, I would be remiss if I didn't maybe get a plug in for my dispensary. I work at
That was
Revolution.
next in line anyway. Plugs.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
I work at Revolution Dispensary. We're at 23 Spring Cove Road in Sunrise Beach, Missouri. Come out, we've got the best weed around the lake. It's the big Bumblebee building. It's black and yellow.
Hard miss.
You know, we grow our own there, so we actually have some really incredible pot there. One of our distributors is Sense, though. I got to throw them a shout out as well, because like these guys have like some of the best cannabis I've imbibed in a serious second. They've got some stuff called the Blueberry Muffins. It is amazing, and their infused joints are great. And I mean, look, the shirts, it says, right? It says Sense, our pre-rolls fuck hard. But I will say, like,
they gave you the shirt, but they don't want you
yeah,
wearing it.
right. But yeah, check us out, because like we don't get to
But we're gonna do it
advertise.
anyways,
We're one of
'cause
the
rock and
few
roll. Fuck you.
dispensaries around the area that for whatever reason are. So I'm gonna do some shameless self-promotion for us, and
Absolutely.
hopefully anybody that lives in the Gravway, Stover, Versailles, Sunrise area, Camdenton, come check us out, man. Like, we're doing 30% off deals all the time. We got 25% off some of our edibles right now. Like, great pre-rolls, 10-cent drive-through pre-rolls. We're always doing incentives. Like, there's constant incentives to buy weed there. Like, so it's real good stuff. And like being from Washington State, like that's saying something for me. Like, it's pretty close to Washington.
There you go. Any shout outs to y'all?
So I mean, we really don't have any big sponsors or anything like that,
Yet.
but you know, I'd like to shout out Stickies for having us here, of course, and
Absolutely.
for having us.
We're grateful for you to come out.
You know, even with the situation where we're down members and we're, you know, changing things, you know, it's really cool to see some like-minded musicians that understand, have been through it, and know the flow, and you know, we're serious and we're still, you know, going to move forward. But just glad that you guys still had us here and in this crazy situation. But you know, I'm grateful that we have Brett here and that things are probably going to make the best turn they ever have. You know, it's definitely good to see the positives in all the shit situations, because there's almost always something there.
Yeah. So I'm excited for June 22nd. I can tell you that.
Right.
So
Oh,
there
yeah.
you go.
It's gonna be a blast.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we've had a couple different singers with us, and they've all been great.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say that we've never had a frontman like him. So you know, you're getting more than just a great music. You're getting the whole show.
Getting a show
So-
as well.
So
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing, you know. That's what we were working with our last singer. We were having a producer trying to get him more of a front man. So, because in rock and roll, that's the biggest thing, honestly. I mean, like, the music's great and all, but people want to see a freaking show.
Okay, so they don't want to see. It's kind of funny. I'm gonna use it like this reference. They don't want to see Tim the Drywaller show up to play a show. They want to They want to see a rock star show up.
Yeah.
They want to see somebody who's larger than life. Like,
Yeah.
you know, in a sense, like
They want to
just
envision
like-
themselves in your shoes.
just like
They wanna live
wrestlers,
that
yeah, they
life
wanna
for a
go
second,
see
you
somebody
know?
that
They're
they wanna
never gonna
be.
do that. They want to feel that. They want to
But-
feel that through you. Live vicariously through your energy.
But at the same time, like, just like with wrestling, like, you gotta also be willing to kind of be that clown that people want you to be. Like, be a good time. Like, don't take yourself too seriously.
You're right. Right.
Have a good time.
Be flexible. Yeah.
Always
I'm
take
not
your music
wearing them
seriously,
right now,
but never
I do
yourself.
Want to throw a shout out
That's a
to
good
my
motto to live
sponsors.
by,
I'm
for
sponsored
sure.
by a hat company called Gun Country Hats. It's guncountryhats.com. They make all sorts of different themed hats. You can find it with the stars and bars, the red, white, and blue. They've got straw hats and felt hats.
Oh,
and
let me
they've
shout
been
out a
coming
company
into-
real fast.
Coming into leather hats as well.
Oh.
And they do custom designs and stuff like that, and they've designed most of my hat lines. So I just want to throw a shout out to them real quick, because they've been real good to me over the years.
I want to shout out Fender Guitars for giving me the ability to buy really cheap ass guitars. Because
Yeah, I mean, since I played a
Gibson would
Fender-
never, and I love my Gibson ST that I spent almost $2,000 on, but I'd never get the cheap ass Telecaster that still plays amazing. So thank you for that, because if
Yeah.
not, I wouldn't have a great guitar to play.
That's what I play. I play that tobacco. I love my
$120 from the pawn shop, and it was been the
bought that
best
shit
guitar
for
I've ever
70.
played
It's
on.
got great tone.
stays in
never
tune. So great, it's not funny.
I never even changed the pickup.
You can knock someone out with it. Keith Richards did on stage. It shit stays in tune.
Just to prove a point.
He was, I mean, really.
Did you ever see the video of the dude who tried to bum rush Maynard on the stage and forgot he knew fucking Brazilian jiu-jitsu?
No, I did not.
Oh yeah, dude walks up and fucking Maynard folded his clothes while he was still in them. He just walks up and just puts him down.
Have you
He's like,
seen,
you are now a square.
Have you seen the video of the Who at Woodstock when the singer, he was pissed off that the crowd was trying to get on stage and he about fist fought someone. He said, he said, if you motherfuckers try one more fucking time, he said, I'll whip your ass. And it's like peace, love, and music. It's just 1969 and they were like, whoa, dude, okay, like, my bad.
Right, and that's and that scene right there is the scene that the Rolling Stones recreated in California with the Hells Angels.
Yep.
They were like, oh, look, a black guy.
Jesus.
Yep.
He had a gun, but he didn't.
Jesus Christ.
That was horrible.
You all have anything else to add?
I think we've covered.
I think we're good.
We'll see y'all on June 22nd.
22nd. Thank you guys for having us so much.
Actually, I want to shout out
Oh.
some people in Sedalia who do keep the music scene alive out there, like Justin
Lawson.
Yeah, he does Making the Band.
For sure.
And he gets, different musicians together. They may have been in bands before or not, and records a song and puts
Does
on
a lot
show
with the
every
kids,
time.
too.
Lots of lessons, teaches everybody how to play. And
There's a lot of preteen and
lot of
teenage bands that
collaborations.
come out of there still, right? Like, he's still doing that?
Yeah.
And he gets them ready
Working
for a
with the
show
kids.
every year. He lets them, do a good show that he's produced and stuff, so they get their, feet wet for the first time and know what it's like.
And that's been going on. I mean, shit, we played that with Sons of the Fallen 10 years ago.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
10 years ago, we
played
at
it Back
Dickie
Road
Doo's
Odyssey,
Barbecue in
yeah.
Sedalia.
I've heard the Dickie Doo.
And I mean, it was like we were. I think it was us and Prometheus were like really the only two like grown up like real bands.
Sure.
I can't say real, but like adult bands, and the rest of them were all kids.
Yeah.
And I mean, like there was like a band full of like 6-year-old kids, and it was the most adorable fucking thing you ever saw.
But it's cool though.
And they were good.
Yeah.
Like they were playing the music and it was decent. You understood what song they were trying to play. It didn't
Right.
sound like shit. It wasn't like some 6-year-old that's I want to get up for the talent show and I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like it was none of that.
No,
Like
he really works with these
yeah,
kids.
really works. And the 14-year-old kids, the 14-year-old
Records their,
group
gets
were,
them to
like,
record a
dope,
song
like,
and shit too, so they can have a song recorded.
yeah, so they can put
Nice.
Like back then, it was make a CD and show it to your friends. Now
Yeah.
it's like put it on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
about it,
about
they
one of the
went-
only good ones out there.
They went from vinyl to CD to digital.
Yep.
You guys are digital here too, right?
Oh yeah.
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 The CDs and the
Yeah.
records.
Hey,
are
vinyl's
just
coming
a
back
show
though.
now.
They got them in Walmart.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've seen them. Yeah, that's neat.
Walmart, Best Buy.
Exclusively only red records, yellow records at Walmart.
Yeah.
That tells you that it's coming back. You can buy arcade machines there too.
Yes.
Full standing arcade machines.
Yes.
Oh, you want to close
You
this out?
give me the Cabal one on down.
I know I'm getting Mortal Kombat soon and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Roll the shit out of that ball. Shoot the fuck out of everything.
If anybody wants to come to the Making the Band show this year, it'll be at the Making the Band studio on 65 Highway, Sedalia, on June 1st. I think it starts at like 10 a.m. or maybe even earlier than that.
Oh,
It's an all-day
it's an all-day
thing.
thing.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, a lot of different artists,
And it's
all
free.
different kinds of music, and like there'll be people, adults, there'll be kids playing. It's really cool. I mean, really.
Man, we're terrible at this because I just realized, I have a show tomorrow and doing my solo project. I'm playing tomorrow, which is going, I don't know, when does this air?
It'll be next Friday.
Oh, so yeah, no, never mind, doesn't matter. I will have played last week
You take the footage out on
at
YouTube.
Charlie Foxtrots with the song swap that we're doing on Sundays.
We hear a lot
with
about
Derek
Charlie
Wayne
Foxtrot.
Brown.
Yeah. We need
And,
to make our way down
Derek
there.
Wayne Brown. I know
Yes.
we know him as well.
Oh yeah, DW.
yeah.
Me and DW go back, dude. We used to work.
DW.
We used to work at Kalo together.
Yeah.
So, and that's where I was working with everybody else's badass kids. Like I was raising everybody else's badass kids and my own. Although my kids are great. Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta give them Benadryl. It's whatever. Anyway, on that note.
Diphenhydramine is your friend.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So yeah, Charlie Foxtrots from 7 to 11. We're gonna be doing song swaps. I think we're gonna start them Tuesdays in May coming up because Sundays we lost our bartender. So yeah, Tuesdays in May. Charlie Foxtrots. We're gonna be doing open mic and song swaps. So bring your music, bring your friends, bring your jokes. Like Bethany, the owner, would really like to see some comedians come out there. So all I can say, I've hosted many open mics in my life, and just fucking be funny if you're gonna come out. Like, don't come out.
Don't
Like, if
not
you're a
be-
dude,
don't
don't
be-
come out and be all drunk and make jokes about trying to fuck chicks because it's not that funny.
Oh wow.
It's not. It's like when you're like, oh yeah, she wouldn't suck. No one cares. No one cares.
You're in a
it's
bar.
not
That's
funny to
every
unzip it,
male
whip it out on
sitting
stage
there.
either. That's not a joke. I mean, it might be, depending on if it's a fucking monster and growls at the room. But if it doesn't, then you probably don't want to whip it out on stage because it's a joke. But it's not the right kind of joke. So leave that in your pants.
Dead.
Anyway,
I can only imagine. I
yeah.
don't want to though, actually. So.
that's all I got for that.
You just KO'd me with that one. So I'm
All right, well, we're out on that one, I guess.
All right,
killed
and
many women with
speaking
the
of
monster.
being out, don't forget to like, subscribe, do Sticky's favorite thing, add a comment down there. Good, bad, otherwise, we don't care.
Sticky likes comments.
Sticky likes the comments.
Especially about how ugly Brett is. Call me Bon Jovi from Wish. I fucking love that.
Hopefully I'll remember that at the June show and do it
Yes,
over the PA.
please do. Please do, ladies and gentlemen. Bon Jovi from Wish.
Yeah.
And if you're so inclined, click that bell icon so you get notified every time we come up with a new podcast for you.
Yeah. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Till next time.
You know what? Well, we don't take too kindly to folks who don't take too kindly around these parts now.
The best laid plans of mice and men, but no one could tell my story.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but wits and chains excite me.
I have walked this path forever, spent my time deep in the heartland. If you'd walk a mile in my footsteps, then you'd finally understand. No more looking over my shoulder.
Well, on wide open, girls, tall lights. Welcome to